gorgeous November Sunday in Kansas City, and a sellout crowd is on hand at Arrowhead Stadium for this interconference battle today between the New Orleans Saints and the Kansas City Chiefs. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Brian Billick, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to the NFL on Fox. And okay, 4-5 against 1-8. Maybe not the marquee game in the NFL today, but that doesn't mean there's not a lot going on that we should keep an eye on.
Hey, they're excited. I'm excited. A 4-5 Saint team that think they're in the middle of their NFC South divisional race. And Kansas City, a bunch of young guys that just want to prove they belong in the National Football League and win a game.
Let's talk about New Orleans. What has to change between now and the end of the year to legitimately get back in the NFC South?
Well, it's the same thing that hurt them last year. They're not running the ball very well. Reggie Bush, who won't play today, and Deuce McAllister, who will, have been in and out of the lineup. And defensively, last year they led the league in giving up the most big plays against their defense. They're on pace to do the same thing this year. That's got to change.
For Kansas City, they are the youngest team in the NFL. Now, granted, they've had 3 straight heartbreaking losses, but it is an energetic bunch, starting with their quarterback, Tyler Thigpen.
It is, and he has energized them. They're doing some different things offensively behind Tyler Thigpen, and they've got some athletes, some good receivers, Tony Gonzalez at tight end, and they're getting Larry Johnson back, and they're going to insert him in some interesting ways today.
Might see a little bit more of that spread offense today. Something to keep an eye on throughout the afternoon. It's time for the Yellow Book Future Faces. Yellow Book and yellowbook.com say yellow to the future.
Well, you got 2 first-round draft choices in New Orleans. Cedric Ellis anchoring the inside of that defensive line, and second-year Dwayne Bowe, big-time receiver out of LSU, making big plays down the field.
To learn more about this week's Yellow Book Future Faces, go to foxsports.com/future faces. Drew Brees and the Saints hoping to get it rolling in the Show Me State. The NFL on Fox has the Saints and the Chiefs next.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Had a flyover moments ago after the national anthem by the Stealth Bomber. On just an absolutely glorious Sunday. Old man Winters kicking in the door over most of the country, but not today in Kansas City. Sean Payton, third-year head coach of the New Orleans Saints, took him to the playoffs his first year, hoping to get back again. The same holds true for Herm Edwards. In his third year in Kansas City, went to the playoffs his first year. They won't go this year, but building for the future indeed.
Well, both dealing with different sets of expectations. Sean Payton expecting to be a playoff team, sitting here at 4-5. Herm Edwards and this organization knew what they were coming into with all the young players, with the rookies they had going into this year.
It really is amazing. 19 rookies on the 53-man roster. Coach Edwards' Chiefs. The Saints won the toss, select to receive. Courtney Roby waits for the kick. He'll come up to get it at the 9. Out across the 20 to the 28-yard line. So that's where Drew Brees, a 29-year-old Austin, Texas native, will put it in play. Certainly few players in the era of NFL free agency have made the impact that Brees has had on the Saints over 3 years. Since 2006, he leads the NFL in passing yards, attempts, completions, to go along with 71 touchdown passes. He is having a big year again.
Well, he's having a record year. I don't know. They're on pace for well over 600 throws. I don't know if that's something you really want to go in knowing that you're going to have to throw the ball that much.
Deuce McAllister in the backfield, the Saints' all-time leading rusher, and he's out across the 30, out to the 32, a gain of 3. The Saints up front, only one change. Matt Lair for a second straight week, and now a third will start at center in place of the injured Jonathan Goodwin. Great wide receiving core of Colston, healthy again, has shaken off some of the rust from that early season thumb injury to go along with Devery Henderson. No Reggie Bush again. They thought maybe as a week of practice went along, but just not full strength. On the end around, they hand it to Henderson, and that did not fool Kansas City defensively. Rocky Boyman coming up to make the tackle, and Boyman, one of 5 new starters this week. I'm not sure there's a more injured team in the NFL than Kansas City is defensively. They have McBride, who's got an ailing shoulder, to go with the rookie Dorsey. Tank Tyler, Alfonso Boone replaces Tamba Hali. Edwards a regular at linebacker. Dacus a starter, a rookie, Boyman a replacement, and in the secondary, 2 rookies, 2 third-year starters.
No big deal. You're only facing the #1 offense in the National Football League. So, hey, let's have at it.
Third down will be critical today. The Saints have been great all year. Kansas City has been dismal all year. Depending on the spot, we'll see. The catch made by Lance Moore. He needed to get to the 39-yard line, and it looks like he might be a foot short.
Gunther Cunningham has an interesting challenge today. He knows that with that young secondary, he'd love to stay in a shell coverage all day, but if you do, Drew Brees is just going to pick you apart. So he's going to have to mix it up, play a little bit more man, bring a little bit more pressure than he'd probably like to with those young corners.
They'll bring out the sticks for a measurement. It is so close. Little extra link in the chain and a foot short.
Good start for that defense to take the #1 offense, Drew Brees, and all that entails, and to get them in a 3-and-out is a big step for this team. Now, can they transition? We'll see what they do offensively.
Glenn Pakulak signed to an NFL roster for the first time at 28 years old, has been cut 8 times over the last 6 years. They had a punter and a field goal kicker make their NFL debuts last week.
Well, I tell you, anytime you put it in the hands of young people like that, on a day like today where so much is riding on it, you always kind of hold your breath every snap.
Kevin Robinson from the 14. And he is taken down at the 21-yard line. So here comes Tyler Thigpen. Many of you perhaps have not seen him play. He's 24 years old, making his 5th NFL start. He's the first player ever from Coastal Carolina to be selected in an NFL draft. Minnesota took him in the 7th round last year, but he wasn't there very long. Claimed off waivers by Kansas City. And because of injuries to Brody Croyle and Damon Heward, he is the starter and has played brilliantly the last 3 weeks.
He's a confident young man. I was impressed with the way he carried himself. We're seeing right from the get-go, they're getting into this pistol offense. That's putting Larry Johnson in the eye behind the quarterback from gun.
Quick throw to Bo, and he's run out of bounds at the 25-yard line. You mentioned the name Larry Johnson. That is a huge story here in Kansas City. Playing for the first time since the 5th of October. He was deactivated for 3 games, suspended by the NFL by 1 game for personal conduct, but back in the lineup today. When healthy, he is an outstanding back. The only change up front, Wade Smith at right guard replaces Adrian Jones. They'll throw it again. Good protection. Wide open down the middle of the field. Catch is made by Cotton. Or was it? Are they saying incomplete? Oh, they're saying it's a catch out to the 45, and that is a first down. They may take a look at this. Tony Gonzalez is urging his teammates get to the line of scrimmage before this play is reviewed. And immediately throwing down the red flag is Sean Payton after a 19-yard reception that may not have been.
Well, we're going
New
to
Orleans is challenging the previous play of a completed pass versus incomplete. We'll review the play. Timeout on the field.
And look at that good catch.
Yeah, it does. And the key is obviously they ruled it as a catch, so it's got to be irrefutable that it wasn't.
We'll let you know the verdict in a moment.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees.
Yeah, we're going to, this clearly, as they're going to come out here and tell us exactly what happened here. John Perry, the referee, is going to explain. It looks like it was a catch.
After reviewing the play stands as called. Completed catch. Possession prior to the ball touching the ground. New Orleans will be charged their first timeout. 1st and 10. Kansas City.
What you're going to see here is, yeah, the ball was bobbled a little bit at the very end, but just at the bottom now, it kind of bounces back up into his hand. It never really touches the ground. He clearly had control of it. right into here. It comes down. You can see the little bobble here, but it never really comes to the ground. Good call by the officials.
We will refer to the pistol formation throughout the entire afternoon, it appears. And this is the first carry for Larry Johnson, and it's a good one. Into Saints territory, chopped down at the 47-yard line. A gain of 8 for Johnson.
Now what we're talking about here, Tommy, in this pistol, this is an old Chris Alt, Nevada Reno offense. Where they put the running back from the gun in the eye. You can see him standing here from the gun. A little unique. You don't see this. I don't know that I've seen this in the NFL so far this year.
Yeah, many collegiate teams have gone to this. We've seen Florida use it. We've seen Ohio State this year with Terrell Pryor use it, and many others.
False start. Number 77 offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Damian McIntosh, a big right tackle.
Now here's exactly what we're talking about here. When you're in that gun, when you're in the eye here, you can see he's just an eye running back here. He's just in behind the quarterback, and this gives you your downhill eye running game and all the play action one out of it.
Second down. Into traffic, a dangerous throw for Thigpen, who has not thrown an interception coming into this game in his last 124 pass attempts. The Saints beat up as well defensively. No longer with Charles Grant up front. They have Smith, Clancy, Ellis, and McCray. Linebacking core, they're fine. Shanley, Vilma, and Fujita. But in the secondary, they've already lost Tracy Porter. They lost Mike McKenzie last week. Osama Young is out today. So Jason David, Randall Gay are the starting corners, and a valuable backup among the cornerback position. Aaron Glenn is also out. Lofted down the sideline. Great coverage by Randall Gay.
Kansas City has an excellent big group of receivers. It begins with Dwayne Bowe, Mark Bradley from Oklahoma, who they got out of Chicago, DeVard Darling, Will Franklin. This is a big group, and it's a talented group, and Tyler Thigpen has a lot of options going down the field, not the least of which is Tony Gonzalez.
Dustin Colquitt back after missing the last 2 games with a groin injury. And this one will drop and take a New Orleans bounce before it settles at the 17-yard line. So the second possession for Drew Brees and the Saints. No score through the opening quarter at Arrowhead Stadium.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability.
New Orleans Saints with the #1 offense in all of the NFL. Kansas City defensively dead last in the NFL, although they have played much better over the last 3 weeks. Drew Brees will throw it on first down. Lance Moore the catch out to the 24-yard line. It'll be a gain of 6.
Well, Drew Brees also, like Tyler Thigpen, got a lot of athletes to go to. Marcus Colston, as you alluded to earlier, Tom, he's up and healthy now. He had trouble with that thumb. I think he's ready to go. Jeremy Shockey, I think, has gotten past that sports hernia. Devery Henderson, big play receiver down the field.
Well, there are weapons all over the place, unquestionably, for New Orleans. And here's another one off their bench, and that's Aaron Stecker. And he's out to the 37-yard line for a first down, a gain of 12. You know, you have pointed out the difference in this Saints offense as opposed to the Kansas City defense in a couple of key categories. The big plays and the third down conversions. Already an early stop for KC, though.
This matchup right here is lethal. You're giving up big plays and third down conversions, and that combination against one of the best teams in the league in that category, Kansas City's got to find a way to dial up and get that stop.
Good protection, and it's intercepted. Jared Page. And Kansas City has forced the most turnovers of any defense in the NFL. That's number 21 on the year.
Devery Henderson falls down at the top of the route here. And Page is able to recognize route combination, steps in front beautifully. Huge turnover for Kansas City.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world. By Samsung HD TV, a new generation of TV. And by Burger King. Have it your way.
Just a simple curl route at the top. Devery Henderson going at Brandon Carr, slips at the top of the route. But Jared Page does a great job of reading the route, putting himself right in front of the curl. I'm not sure that he wouldn't have had that even if Henderson had not fallen.
Thigpen on first down, steps up and throws to the sideline where defender Randall Gay fell down, enabling Dwayne Bowe to make the reception. And that is a first down to the 33-yard line. Bowe, a marvelous rookie season last year when he caught 70 passes for nearly 1,000 yards.
Thigpen, there's two names that come to mind when you talk about Tyler Thigpen. You're talking about Rich Gannon because of the way he moves around the pocket, and I think his throwing action reminds me a lot of Mark Bulger. It's almost a three-quarter delivery. Then you can see them here in this pistol with the eye back behind the quarterback.
Johnson reading blockers, breaks it to the right side, and barrels his way to the 25-yard line. Let's send it to Los Angeles and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Ravens and Giants opening drive of the ball game. Brandon Jacobs takes it in from the yard out. 5 carries, 52 yards on the first possession for Jacobs, and the Giants have a 7-0 lead in the biggest matchup between these two teams since a certain coach had them in the Super Bowl. Tom?
Who would be that coach that had him in a Super Bowl in Baltimore? You ever heard of that guy?
Oh, that's a long time ago, brother. I was a lot younger and a lot fewer gray hairs.
Giants, reigning Super Bowl champions, off to a great start, leading the NFC East. Thigpen to throw on second down. Had an eye on Tony Gonzalez, but he was covered, and covered well by Scott Shanley.
Yeah, this the throwing action of Tyler Thigpen, like I said, reminds me almost a three-quarter delivery, almost whips the ball like a Mark Bulger, but he's also a very good athlete. This kind of offense is perfectly suited to what Tyler Thigpen does best.
Third down and 2. And they're going to hand it to Johnson. And he appears to be short of the first down by a yard. So perhaps decision time early on for Herm Edwards. He sends his fullback Mike Cox into the game, which leads one to believe they're going for it. Of course, they went for the 2-point conversion and the win last week in the final seconds against Kansas, or against San Diego.
You got to know you're going against the #1 offense in the NFL. Field goals isn't going to cut it. You get in this situation, absolutely. Let's go for it on a 4th and short.
Automatic handoff here.
Well, they're already in this Wildcat offense. They broke it out. Let's see what if New Orleans can put enough people in the box to stuff this run.
That's Larry Johnson who took the snap, and he has a first down. We told you before the game started you would see some things offensively today from Kansas City that you're more likely to see in the college game than the pro game.
Well, this is suited for them. New Orleans does a nice job. They recognize they've got the quarterback down in here. That ought to be enough to cover them. Let's bring everybody up in the box. They actually play it pretty good, but Larry Johnson just kind of piles his way for the first down.
First and 10 at the 20. They give it to Johnson the standard way this time, and Shanley the first one to meet him. The football is loose, but Kansas City covers it up. Tony Gonzalez right on top of it at the 16-yard line.
You know, we were wondering, Tom, how they were going to reintegrate Larry Johnson into this offense. With his absence the last 4 games, they've gotten to this kind of spread. Larry Johnson is an eye-back downhill runner, and you can see how they're adapting. They're doing this pistol offense. They're putting him in the eye, even though they're in gun, and utilizing all their abilities here.
Of course, Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator, has had to get extremely creative with all these injuries. Throw to the corner and caught inside the 5 by Mark Bradley. It's 1st and goal, Kansas City.
Oh, you don't want to see this. Tony Gonzalez limping off the field. He is such a weapon for them. That would be a big loss. This shows you the strength of Tyler Thigpen on the run. This is a great on-the-spot, aggressive, accurate throw. Great job getting your feet back inside. Good big play by Mark Bradley.
Gonzalez, it looked like, ran into his own man. The fullback, Mike Cox, coming out of the backfield. We'll show you that again in a moment. As they tend to Gonzalez on the Kansas City sideline. They give it to Johnson, and he's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Coming up the line to make the stop is Roman Harper. Keep an eye on 88. And let's see if we can pick up anything this time.
Gonzalez here in kind of a bunch step, making his way off the line, and then basically gets tripped up with a straight leg. You see this all the time. If you get straight-legged and somebody hits you, that's not good for the knee, the ankle. Hopefully he can shake this off and find his way back onto the field.
9-time Pro Bowler, ranks 1st in NFL history among tight ends in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. A future Hall of Famer, certainly. 2nd and goal, jump ball, touchdown! Dwayne Bowe, his 4th touchdown of the year.
Well, this is just the kind of throw you want to make to Dwayne Bowe. This is a big, powerful man. 6'2", 221. Tyler Thigpen said, anytime I throw to Dwayne Bowe, I just want to put it up and make it a jump ball, no matter where it is on the field. And clearly that's what you needed to do there. Great matchup. You saw the strength of the hands, the leaping ability. This young man's got it all.
Point after by Connor Barth, the rookie out of North Carolina, is good. And so Kansas City takes advantage of the interception by Jared Page. The touchdown pass goes Thigpen to Bowe. 7-0 Chiefs. There are a lot of wide receivers that get a lot more pub than Dwayne Bowe. But you got to believe this kid is becoming one of the top, 8-10 receivers in the league?
Well, he's just so physical. He reminds you of the Anquan Boland, the Larry Fitzgerald. You know, I've said before, you can roll the speed, you can bracket quickness. But when you've got physical size and presence like this guy does, it's a tough combination.
Courtney Roby from the 1. Has a seam. Out across the 30. Breaks it to the outside. Being chased by the kicker. And Barth runs him out of bounds all the way at the 44-yard line of Kansas City. A 54-yard return for Courtney Roby. The Chiefs lead it 7-0 in the opening quarter.
Now, this is a classic place for the big shot down the field. Big play. You're inside the 50-yard line. Look for New Orleans to take a shot down the field. Imagine Gunther Cunningham's yelling the same thing to his defensive crew. Watch the vertical.
And, of course, they're going to hand it off to Pierre Thomas, and a good pickup on 1st down. At least 9, depending on the spot. It could be good enough for a 1st down. He'll be just short.
This is the area where you expect to see, if they throw the ball, Jeremy Shockey, Marcus Colston. You're getting in close to that red zone. That's where these big-time athletes tend to show up when you throw the ball.
And interesting you say that, because on 1st down, Shockey was not in the game. 2nd down in the yard, he is in the game. And there he is on a catch. What a collision, and what a play. Made in the open field, and that's the strong safety Bernard Pollard running into Shockey. Very close to a 1st down. They may have to measure.
Now, this is just discipline by the safety. You see a toss action to the strong side. You don't overreact. You come up and deliver that kind of shot on a big physical athlete like Jeremy Shockey. They may very well convert on this, but that's quite a play by Bernard Pollard.
First down. You have pointed out, Brian, how the Saints defense has struggled on the road. Their offense hasn't been as sharp, but in the overall body of work, they've been real good offensively again under Sean Payton.
Well, Sean Payton and Drew Brees are as one. They have the same philosophical belief. They have great faith in one another. Drew Brees, Sean Payton's play calling, and Payton in whatever he wants to dial up for Drew Brees.
Brees across the middle. A nice play made by Rocky Boyman. Seventh-year linebacker out of Notre Dame getting the start today. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee from Los Angeles.
All right, Bears and Packers. Aaron Rodgers hooking up with Greg Jennings on the touchdown. And how's this for a start for Rodgers? 7 for 7, 71 yards, and yes, that passing touchdown with a 7-0 lead. Back to Tom and Brian.
Kurt, thank you. Every game's a money game in the NFL, but if you play for the Packers, when the Bears come in, that's a money game. Second down carry and nothing there as flags litter the field. And we mentioned John Perry, our referee today. Art McNally, our replay official.
Offside. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
Now this is what kills you with that young defense. You just turned a 3rd and long into a 2nd medium against the #1 offense in the league. This has given Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Now you got a lot on your play call sheet for a 2nd and 5 in the red zone.
Jason Babin, the only reason he's getting playing time, former #1 pick by the Texans, is because of all of the injuries on the Kansas City defense. Thomas trying to turn the corner and can't do it, short of a first down by a yard.
I like what Kansas City is doing defensively. They've got those young corners in there, and they're trying to protect them, but they're changing it out. They're bringing Pollard down into the box. They're very active with their linebackers. Again, now a third. This might be a good place. New Orleans has struggled with handing the ball off with their running game in this down and distance. You might look for a little play-action pass here.
3rd and 1 at the 25. First man through in the I formation is Thomas. He's still on his feet inside the 20 and down to the 17-yard line. First down, New Orleans.
Pierre Thomas in the fullback position. Pierre Thomas obviously with Reggie Bush down. They rely on the 1-2 punch now of Pierre Thomas and Deuce McAllister, putting Thomas in at the fullback. Interesting move for them to be able to turn around and give that quick little dive into the fullback from the eye with Pierre Thomas, typically a tailback, in at the fullback position. Just grinding it out, seeing he breaks through that initial level, holding on to the ball, cannot have a turnover here.
Bad snap, but able to cover it up as Deuce McAllister. That'll be a loss of 12 all the way back to the 30-yard line.
Well, Matt Lair is in for Goodwin, is the backup center, and you don't see this too often. You see it out of the gun, but not with the quarterback. That had to slip out of his hand. Something wasn't right with that, because that came nowhere close to hitting Drew Brees in the hands. It looked like it slipped out right along the ground.
Second down and 21 at the Kansas City 29. Brees looking, and it is caught by Lance Moore. That'll get him down to the 19-yard line. So 3rd down and a little more than 10 for the Saints, trailing 7-0 with under 2 minutes to play here in the opening quarter.
When you talk about the receivers with Drew Brees, it's interesting how often he brings up Lance Moore's name. You got Marcus Colston. You got Robert Meacham, a first-round draft choice. You got Jeremy Shockey. But Lance Moore, more and more, has been a guy that he goes to in critical situations.
Talking about a guy who spent most of the last 2 years on the practice squad. He's your leading receiver this season. They need to get to the 8 to convert. Caught But short of the first down is Jeremy Shockey, who has been so quiet since coming back from that sports hernia surgery.
You know, it's interesting, Tom. We talked about how the challenge for Kansas City would be if they get in scoring position to not settle for field goals, to go for a touchdown. They went for it on a 4th and 1 to give themselves that chance. New Orleans here in the same situation, a little bit longer D&D, is going to settle for the field goal, figuring they're going to be down here again.
30-yard field goal try for Garrett Hartley. 3rd kicker used this season by New Orleans. They lost Martin Gramatica to injury. They've turned loose Taylor Melhoff. Hartley has hit his first 2 as a Saint and hit his first 3 as a Saint. (7-3) game with 29 seconds to play in the opening quarter from Kansas City. He was intense as a player, and the same holds true as the defensive line coach Tim Crumrye, 2-time Pro Bowler. In his days with the Bengals, many remember him from having his leg in a grotesque injury broken in the Super Bowl when Cincinnati played in Miami against the 49ers.
You know what? Players respond when they see that fire from a Tim Crumrye. They'll take it. He can lash out at them all he wants because they know the intensity he played with. He coaches the same way, and I got to believe that his defensive line loves it.
Rather than Kevin Robinson set to return it, they've gone with Dantrell Savage, and Savage fell down. Still can't find the handle, and is just at the 10-yard line after misplaying the kickoff. Take ahead to next week. Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader at 1 o'clock. Many of you will see the 49ers and the Cowboys. We have some other games regionally. And then at 4:15, some will see the Giants and the Cardinals. Brian, you and I will be in Atlanta for a big one in the NFC South, the Panthers and the Falcons. Our coverage begins with the Bill Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
Well, we're getting that point of the season where the wins and losses this late in the season very clearly defined how it's going to affect your team with regards to the playoffs.
Tony Gonzalez, by the way, is back on the field. Apparently had his foot stepped on by his teammate Mike Cox. Big Pen just throws it away on first down.
I think we had a miscommunication. It was one of those you should have zigged when you zagged. I think he thought that in that instance Mark Bradley was going to make a double move and go vertical and didn't anticipate him pulling up. You know, they said that one of the reasons they've gone to this style of play, Tyler Thigpen has been his most productive in the 2-minute. So the fact that they're taking that even in this instance to a no-huddle offense, he's very comfortable with this.
Good start today for Thigpen, including the touchdown pass to Dwayne Bowe. Chiefs lead it 7-3, and on second down, in and out of the hands of Bowe. The ball may have been tipped by Randall Gay. 3rd down and 10 for Kansas City.
Well, I think it's one of those things where Bowe comes out of it. He's surprised he's getting the ball because Gay's all over him. And at the last minute, I think he was going to turn that head upfield, thought he had a bigger play than he might have, took his eye off the ball, goes back to schoolyard coaching. See the ball into your hands. See the ball into the tuck every time.
Jamal Charles has come in to replace Larry Johnson in the Kansas City backfield. And on 3rd and 10, they're coming after Thigpen. And down he goes in the arms of Will Smith down at the 4. The first man there was Scott Shanley on the blitz, and Smith cleaned it up behind him.
This is not something that New Orleans does a great deal of, bring its linebackers. So it's a change up for them, gets him to hesitate, allows now for Will Smith to clean up because of the hesitation of the quarterback. Good solid sack.
End of the first quarter, 7-3 Kansas City. We're back after these messages from your local Fox station. Dustin Colquitt will punt out of his own end zone on the first play of the second quarter with Kansas City in front of New Orleans, 7-3. Very short punt, and Lance Moore, the fair catch at the 43-yard line of the Chiefs. Drew Brees leads the NFL in passing yards, in completions. 17 touchdown passes, the fourth most in the league, as is his passer rating. And since coming to the Saints, a staggering 11,000 plus yards in the passing game.
And those 11 interceptions, I don't want to take the responsibility off Brees, but there's been a lot of things that have happened in those interceptions. He's playing magnificently this year.
They hand it to McAllister, pitches it back to Brees, thrown in and out of the hands of Marcus Colston. Maurice Leggett, the rookie corner out of Valdosta State, appeared to just spring it loose.
You know, just a normal flea flicker or pitchback pass. They actually cover it pretty well. Marcus Colston staring back into that end of the stadium where that sun is brutal. I don't know that that made a difference or not, but that sun has got to be staring. He's catching a black spot in the sky, not a ball at that point.
You pointed that out at the beginning of the game. What a dramatic effect the sun here seems to have on a football game. They pitch it to McAllister, who's inside the 40 to the 38.
Tom, we had the Saints to open the season against Tampa Bay, and we saw then and talked with Sean Payton about how he was slowly going to bring Deuce McAllister back. Here we are past midway of the season. I'm not sure they really feel like Deuce McAllister is ever going to be 100% this year, and so it's going to be after a combination of backs, and that's why they're having difficulty running the ball this year.
McAllister, the Saints' all-time leading rusher. Brees on a 3rd and 5 to throw it, and a wide open receiver is Pierre Thomas, still on his feet and run out of bounds inside the 20 down to the 14-yard line.
This is one of those, I thought you had him. No, I thought you had him. They're clearly showing pressure. Kansas City is here. We said that Gunther Cunningham's got to change it up. You're seeing pressure coming from the outside by the DB and the linebacker. Somebody didn't go with somebody. This is too easy to give the New Orleans Saints a freebie like that. Now inside the 15-yard line.
McAllister will get it from Brees, trying to cut it back to the inside, and a pretty good first down run down to the 9-yard line. That'll be a gain of 6 for Deuce McAllister.
Jared Page has got his good eyes. He's trying to read. He's going to get him another pick. He realizes something up. Now he's trying to work his way across to it. He recognizes somebody didn't take somebody. I've got to get over there and cover.
Johnny Edwards, he's a linebacker on that side, came on the blitz.
Yeah, I think we had a miscommunication as to who was going to take the back out of the backfield.
Call it a 5-yard pickup, and the quick slant is caught by Colston right at the 5-yard line. The first catch today for Colston, who of course injured his thumb in the season opener against Tampa Bay, missed 5 weeks, and last week 7 catches for 140 yards.
Tom, quarterbacks don't really like slant routes. There's too many bad things that can happen. When you've got a big receiver like Marcus Colston, that's a big sweep spot. I can put that ball about anywhere I want with Marcus Colston, and he's going to come up with a catch.
3rd down and 1 for New Orleans.
From the gun. 3rd and 1 from the gun.
And Drew Brees says timeout.
There is no foul for delay of game, as the timeout was called prior to. That's the second charge timeout, New Orleans.
Brees took a peek at that play clock, and it was getting dangerously close to zeros. He says, hold on a minute. 3rd and 1 when we come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the new Hyundai Genesis. It all starts with this. By Best Buy, you happier. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light. When the mountains turn blue, your beer is as cold as the Rockies.
Third down and a yard at the 5-yard line. The Saints 2 of 4 on third down conversions today. A moment ago they were in the shotgun. Now they're in the eye.
Well, last time they gave it to Pierre Thomas on the dive.
And he gets it again, sniffing the goal line. Second time successfully. New Orleans has used that dive give to Thomas. And it's first and goal for the Saints at the 1.
Now you can see what happened. They give the dive, then fake the little pitch afterwards to hold the linebacker. Later on in the game, we may see that ball actually pitched to the outside. The last 2 third and ones, it's been the dive to the fullback, Pierre Thomas.
So as a play caller, you're filing that away.
Oh yeah, you're seeing how they reacted to that. Did they honor the pitch down?
McAllister into the end zone. Deuce McAllister with that touchdown has tied Dalton Hilliard's Saints franchise record with 53 career touchdowns. And he'll keep that football, and congratulations.
Deuce McAllister is one of those players that coaches around the league love. This is a consummate pro, tough physical runner, always positive yards. It's great to see him back and semi-healthy. I don't think he's 100%, but he's going to be a big part of whatever the Saints do going forward.
Garrett Hartley for the point after. And New Orleans, for the first time today, has a lead. 10-7 in Kansas City. Deuce McAllister, a first-round pick of the Saints all the way back in 2001 out of Mississippi. And he is the franchise's all-time rushing leader and now shares the New Orleans Saints franchise record with Dalton Hilliard for most touchdowns. Hartley set to put a foot on it. Again, Savage waits. Good kick that will sail through the end zone out to the 20 for Tyler Thigpen and company.
Now, Herm Edwards with this young team, this is what he's watching for now. How's this young team going to respond? They came out, got the interception to score, feeling good about themselves. This great New Orleans offense is kind of cranking it up now. He wants to see how his young team, his young offense, his young quarterback, Tyler Thigpen, respond to this emotional challenge.
Well, they went 3 and out, did not gain a single yard on their last offensive series. Had a punt from their own end zone, gave New Orleans great field position, and the Saints turned it into a touchdown. Empty backfield, 5 receivers set on first down. Looking for Tony Gonzalez. And he makes a catch out to the 25 and now make it 125 consecutive games with a reception for the 9-time Pro Bowler out of Cal.
Well, they're using it all now. We've seen the offset eye out of gun. We've seen the pistol. And now we're seeing just an empty backfield, getting the ball out of your hand quickly to your playmakers, Tony Gonzalez. We're seeing it all, the Kansas City Chiefs.
The great Ozzie Newsome, your former boss.
Yeah, I've been around some pretty good ones, and this kid's as good as any.
Fell down and still made the catch. He fell down, and so did Roman Harper. So they'll move the chains, and we'll send it back to Los Angeles and check in again with Kurt.
Thought maybe you wanted to see some more quarterback to tight end hookups. This time it's Carolina's Jake Delhomme and Jeff King. 15 yards on the score, but the Lions still have the lead by 3 in the second quarter. Back to KC, Tom and Brian.
Gonzalez back-to-back catches. It's first down for the Chiefs at the 35-yard line. Larry Johnson on a little delay. Barrels out to the 45-yard line. Johnson playing in just his 6th game today. The only 2 seasons he's played all 16 games, he rushed for over 1,700 yards. And both of those years he went to the Pro Bowl. But last year was hurt, only played in 8 games after a foot injury. This year, deactivated for 3 games. because of an off-the-field incident in a local nightclub, then suspended because of that for 1 game by the NFL. This is his first game in over a month.
He's a dynamic talent, but he's got to find a way to fit within the fabric of his team.
Good piece of running right there to pick up a first down to the 49. You know, most around here seem to believe that in years past, when Johnson has had his various issues, that his apology did not always seem sincere. This time, they feel differently about it.
Well, this is a young man, and sometimes maybe he's not articulating his motions properly. You got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He is a talent, but he's got to find a way to articulate himself so that people understand he is a team player. He wants to be a part of this team.
Grew up in State College, Pennsylvania, and stayed at home to play collegiately at Penn State, did Johnson. And Thigpen is taken to the deck, caught from behind by Jeff Charleston. Never saw him coming.
I think we've got a breakdown here. I think Larry Johnson just knew back to this style of play, was supposed to go to the weak side and take care of that defender on the backside. Thigpen thought he was accounted for and was going to boot his way out. Did not expect that free run. He was going to give a little play fake there. There was no one to play fake to, and gets run down on the backside by Jeff Charleston.
Chiefs have been much better protecting the passer in this new style of play. Catch is made out at the 45-yard line again by Gonzalez. His third catch on this drive. Third down and 14 upcoming for the Chiefs.
You mentioned earlier, Tom, I've been very fortunate. I've been around some great tight ends. The great Ozzie Newsome, Shannon Sharp played for us. Steve Jordan up in Minnesota. But Tony Gonzalez, you can see the productivity he's had. He is, in my opinion, a guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer when he decides to hang the cleats up.
Boy, look at some of the names on that list. Thigpen, good mobility, looking down the field and lets it fly, and an open receiver. Is the catch good? It is by the rookie Will Franklin at the 13.
This is the thing they talk about with Tyler Thigpen, that is Rich Gannon-esque. His ability to make plays outside the body of the offense. This is Bo wide open early, then gets closed by Case Mahorn, and then now the big play down the field as Case Mahorn comes in.
Well, in that hurry-up offense, they hand it to Johnson on first down, a gain of 2.
Yeah, now obviously that with Case Mahorn responding to coming up and taking away Dwayne Bowe, this allows the receiver, Will Franklin, to get in behind to where the free safety should have been, and Tyler Thigpen's ability to run around, buy some time, size that up, and deliver the ball down the field. This is the kind of play they see this young man making.
Second down and 7 at the Saints' 10-yard line. And again, out of that pistol formation, they're going to give it to Larry Johnson, and not much running room. Still on his feet, still trying to grind out an extra yard or two. Down to the 8-yard line, third down for the Chiefs.
The problem I have with the pistol down here, Tom, is it's to simulate an eye. But if you have the eye formation, you need a fullback. And your only threat when you're in gun, and even in the pistol in the eye, is a passing threat. Well, when you're down on the 12-yard line, there's only so much of that threat. If you're going to utilize Larry Johnson and you're going to put him in the eye, I'm not sure I'm not going to put a fullback in front of him in this compressed area of the field.
Well, they're going to empty out the backfield this time. 3 receivers, including Gonzalez to the left, 2 to the right. On third down, Thigpen across the middle, caught, and trying to get to the end zone, denied the end zone. Let's see where they spot it. Boy, Tony Gonzalez, so tough, so tough.
Great play call by Chan Gailey. Right, you've got a 6'4", 6'5" Tony Gonzalez. You got a 6'2" or 6'3" Dwayne Bowe, a 6'3" Mark Bradley. You got a lot of big receivers. It's who you going to double. The one guy I'd double for sure would be Tony Gonzalez.
Backfield in the game at the 1-yard line. Johnson over the top. Still no signal given by the officials. And we're not doesn't appear.
I know fans get frustrated with the late calls on these goal lines, but this is a process, a procedure that the officials go from. One guy on the goal line, the other, they check one another, eyeball one another. Is he in? What did you see? To make sure they got it right. Here, the fans are calling for the replay. Let's see if he gets in.
Kansas City is challenging the previous play.
The key is where's the
goal
ball
line versus the score.
What we're not seeing, we saw the back of Larry Johnson there. We'll come back and see if we can get a shot of the ball. Did it cross the goal line? Because it's all about where was the ball, not Larry Johnson. Well, these are the calls you love as a coach, because they're seeing the same thing the officials are that we, and right here, you don't know where the ball is. And right now, the only ones in the stadium that know if the ball crossed the plane are about 10,000 Chiefs fans and this guy right here. And of the 10,000, I think there's only one that's going to be objective. So that's his call.
Kansas City will be charged their first team timeout. Second down.
Well, we heard from the 10,000 that thought they saw it differently.
With about 60,000 others.
Yeah, they didn't see it, but they figured those 10,000 along the goal line had a good view of it.
So Herm Edwards challenges the call on the field. The play stands as called, so the Chiefs lose a timeout. The good news for Herm, it's second down and goal inside the 1.
Sure. It was worthy challenge, other than Herm's got to know, or maybe he doesn't. He doesn't work with us, but there's no camera on the other side of the field that's going to give him that view.
As a coach, would you check out something like that before a game, or you don't care?
I'd like to say I would, but I'd be lying.
Okay. Well, you've lied to me before. We haven't been together that long. Johnson again. Still on his feet, and he will lose yardage this time. He dove into the pile, came down on his feet, tried to spring it to the outside, and beautifully done defensively by Vilma from the middle linebacker spot.
And what you're going to see here is New Orleans. When you're on the goal line this far down, you got to make a decision as a defense. We're going to sell out and take the run, and if they happen to play action fake, we're in trouble, or we're going to figure it's a play action fake. They sold out to the run. All 11 bodies going to the ball now becomes an interesting call. You just had it stuck twice. Do you try it one more time, or do you give a little boot action or play fake and look for Gonzalez at the back of the end zone?
We're going to walk it for Bo. And I'll still say it, and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. For every 50 times you try that play, it works twice. If that.
Well, even if it's 50-50, they got the one earlier, and you got to know that the DB is thinking the same thing. Randall Gay knows they're going to go to the jump ball. He's got to be careful he doesn't get pass interference, give up body presence to let a big receiver like Dwayne Bowe have to deal with it. Great drive by Kansas City, but boy, to get a touchdown in that situation emotionally would have been huge for this young team.
First and goal from the 1, and they are denied the touchdown. Up to Connor Bart from 20 yards out to get 3, and the kick successful. The youngest team in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs, denied a touchdown, but the field goal brings them within even at 10-all. For those of you just tuning in, a 10-10 game with 3.5 minutes to play until halftime. The Chiefs, their 21st takeaway, led to a touchdown in the opening quarter. The Saints took the lead with 10 unanswered points. And then Herm Edwards' youthful Chiefs marched down the field. A very impressive start for the rookie Tyler Thigpen to get him first and goal at the 1, but they cannot score a touchdown. They settle for a game-tying field goal. Thigpen hitting on 5 of 6 on the drive. Courtney Roby slips a couple of tackles and cuts it the other way. And Roby is spun down at the 32-yard line. So plenty of time for Breeze and company with 3:22 till halftime. Animation domination, all new tonight on Fox. Starting with The Simpsons at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Then all new last from King of the Hill, Family Guy, and American Dad. Viewer discretion most advised. Saints have one timeout left between now and the half. Of course, they have the 2-minute warning as well. And a first down carry is good enough for 3 for Thomas, and they're in hurry-up mode, or are they? No, they're going to huddle up. You a little surprised by this? It's the #1 offense in the NFL.
No, but I tell you what, you got plenty of time, and one of the priorities, beyond scoring, obviously, is let's see if we can not give the ball back to Kansas City. You got plenty of time. You got a timeout in your pocket. I'm okay with not running a no huddle here.
Breeze looking around, drops it off to Moore, and that is a first down up to the 44-yard line.
So you got plenty of time here. They're going to take themselves. They're clearly going to be able to use the 2-minute warning now that they've got a first down as another timeout. So Drew Brees has got to play here, probably take us down to the 2-minute warning, and still that timeout in your back pocket and working at least into field goal position, and with the Saints, maybe even a touchdown.
Breeze lofts it into the arms. What a beautiful touch by Breeze, caught by Colston at the Kansas City 41-yard line.
Just the perfect touch by a veteran quarterback with a big receiver. Right, they cleared out on the outside with Moore. Big receiver, obviously, in Marcus Colston. And here again, now you're on the 40-yard line. You're still going to get the 2-minute warning if they can get it off. No, I thought he was out of bounds.
I'm with you on that. So the 2-minute warning, a 10-10 game. The Saints marching.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
The Saints slow to get started on offense today, including an interception. But the last 3 drives, yards starting to pile up, and 10 points put on the board. First down, they're going to hand it off, and Deuce McAllister watches as Pierre Thomas takes a handoff, is run out of bounds after maybe a 1-yard gain.
Now they'll likely hold on to their 1 timeout for this next third down if they don't get it here. On a 2nd and 9, I'd expect a timeout at this point because there's still enough time. You're getting close in the field goal position. I would think you'd want to get a more calculated call on 3rd down.
We're going to empty out the backfield this time. Thomas split far to the left. Breeze a funk fake, lofts it down the middle of the field, and that ball easily could have been intercepted. That was a dangerous throw by Breeze, and Brandon Carr was right there and did not get it.
Now, Gunther Cunningham, I promise you, this is a triggered blitz on the outside because of the empty set. They're going to get to Breeze before he can give you a good, solid throw, and that's exactly what happened. Jeremy Shockey was open underneath, and he had an easier throw, but he was under too much duress to execute that. Good call by Gunther Cunningham.
Timeout, Kansas City.
That's the second charge timeout. Kansas City, 30-second timeout.
You know, all of a sudden in that secondary, Jared Page in only his 3rd year, he's become the veteran back there.
It was fun to talk to him yesterday and ask him, how does it feel like being the old man back there in year 3?
You're not lying. Well, coming up on the Visa halftime report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have all the scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports Ticker keeps you up to date with all the stats. And no matter how you celebrate game day, Visa is the way to go.
Interesting young man, Jared Page, was a top draft choice in Major League Baseball, 17 years old, offered $750,000, and he says, no, I'm going to get my college education at UCLA and see if I can play football as well. That's a unique young man.
Oh, you're not lying. Third down, Breeze steps up. The defender fell down, and Moore makes a catch at the 22-yard line, and the clock continues to run.
A lot of people would use this to kill, but with Drew Brees, the master of the no huddle, the experience he has, they're going to take a legitimate shot here. They still have that timeout in their back pocket.
Under a minute 30 to go. And Breeze drops it off to Thomas out of the backfield. He's shoved out of bounds inside the 20 at the 17.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people were screaming in their television, why aren't they in no huddle? Why didn't they start this in no huddle? When you've got an experienced quarterback like Drew Brees, you had 3 minutes and 20 seconds to start the drive. I got a timeout in my back pocket. That's all the time in the world to a veteran like Drew Brees. You don't have to do it at the no huddle pace. And the fact that it's working means this time I'm right.
Blitz coming, and Breeze again finds Pierre Thomas out of the backfield. He makes a catch for a first down to the 11-yard line.
There again, possibility for a kill, but Drew Brees, he's got all the time here now. Still that timeout. He's going to get a play orchestrated here. This isn't a burn down for Drew Brees with all the athletes that he has. I'm interested that Jeremy Shockey is not in the game.
Shockey's been standing and watching a lot late the last couple of weeks. That pass right through the hands of Thomas. For the final 36 offensive plays run by the Saints last week against Atlanta, Shockey was only on the field for 3 of them. He has not caught a touchdown pass in a Saints uniform.
Well, and there's still that rhythm, that nuance, that I know where you're going between Drew Brees and Jeremy Shockey. Obviously, he's got a comfort zone with Billy Miller. He's got some good receivers on the field. Why not a Jeremy Shockey? Not quite sure.
Pump fake throw to the end zone. Incomplete. Rocky Boyman appeared to turn just in the nick of time to bat it away.
Drew Brees knew, you could see his reaction afterward, this thing needs to be higher. You got someone with the size and the leaping ability of Marcus Colston. Put this thing up high, maybe a little bit behind him, make him go take it off the rim. And you could tell right here, he knew, right? See, put it up. I got to put it up higher. I got to give him the jump ball that I know he'll come down with.
All right, 3rd and 10 here. Who you looking for?
I'm looking for Jeremy Shockey. He's not in the game, so I'm going to find Marcus Colston again.
Play blown dead before it ever got started. But Kansas City spent a timeout.
That's the 3rd and final timeout. Kansas City. 30-second timeout.
Drew Brees on pace to throw for better than 5,300 yards, which of course would break Dan Marino's single-season record of just over 5,000 in 1984. And today, after an early pick, starting to move things around.
Well, he's got a lot of weapons here. With the timeout, he can do anything he wants. The good thing here, you don't have to throw it into the end zone with 45 seconds and a timeout on a 3rd down. I can put it down the field into the end zone. I can drop it underneath if Kansas City wants to set 4 across or a passive zone in the end zone and let one of these good athletes catch the ball outside of the end zone and find his way in.
Well, you called for Shockey in the game. He is in the game. Brees looking to Shockey, and he is cut down at the 5-yard line. Clock continues to run.
Now you let this run down, and you're going to probably take it down to where the shot clock or the play clock gets down to under 4 or 5 seconds, because you want to take as much time as you can. The game clock, is at 22. They're going to bring this thing down to where you have 1 or 2 options. You leave it at 10. That way you give yourself some room if something happens, but then you got to kick the ball off. They'll bring it down to under 5 seconds so that the kick itself, we should not have to have a kickoff afterwards.
See the clock in red at the top of your screen, and the timeout with 2 seconds left.
That's the 3rd and final timeout in New Orleans. 30-second timeout.
That way you don't have to kick the ball off. I mean, what are the chances of kickoff or return for a touchdown? Well, probably minimal, but why give it a shot? Good clock management here, bringing it down. Typically in the league says as long as you bring it to 4 or less, the play will be done. 2 obviously keeps it safe. They'll get the snap, the kick, conceivably good, and not have to kick the ball off. Great drive by New Orleans. You know, they started this thing back, on their 25-yard line.
A 23-yard field goal try for Garrett Hartley. Has already hit once today. And he tries to give the Saints the lead going into the locker room, and does. A 23-yard field goal attempt by Hartley is good, who has still not missed wearing a Saints uniform. 4 of 4. 13-10 New Orleans. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. It's right after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. New Orleans leading 13-10 here at halftime. And certainly the Chiefs have to feel pretty good, even though the Saints did go down the field, holding Breeze and company to just the field goal.
I think they do. I think Kansas City's got to feel very good about the way they've responded to the ebb and flow of this game. 13-10 against the #1 offense in the National Football League. You got to feel pretty good.
All right, let's get you up to speed to get ready for the second half. An early interception by Jared Page led to this touchdown throw in the corner of the end zone to Dwayne Bowe. Deuce McAllister ties the Saints all-time franchise record with his 53rd touchdown, which gave the Saints a lead. Kansas City got the ball back, went down the field, had it 1st and goal at the 1. Could not get a touchdown, hit a game-tying field goal, and then the Saints on the final drive down the field for 3 and a 13-10 lead. So the fellas are standing by in Los Angeles for the Visa halftime report. We'll catch up with you shortly.
Visa, no matter how you celebrate game day, Visa is the way to go.
Day, great crowd, good game. 13-10 at halftime. Welcome back to Arrowhead Stadium. All right, Brian Billick, you were the coach of a Super Bowl champion at halftime right now. Let's start with Kansas City. What are you saying to your team?
Guys, you're playing well. You've held a pretty good offense in check, but you know what? The last 3 weeks, we've got 3 losses by 8 points. How about we win one of these close ones and put ourselves over that threshold?
Or what about if you're Sean Payton?
Sean, they've played pretty well with the except for the one interception that put Kansas City on the short field. It's, guys, as long as we don't make those mistakes, we're in control of this game. We've got too much at risk to make those kind of mistakes. Let's just drive down the field and score.
Kansas City will get the football to begin the second half. A 13-10 game. Great to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon. Saints rolling into KC, trying to get back to 500. The Chiefs, the youngest team in the NFL, trying to win their 2nd game of this season. And this is Dantrell Savage. Out across the 25-yard line out to the 28. Flags come down on the play from the far side. Tell you about that in a minute. Tyler Thigpen. A touchdown throw to Bowe in the opening quarter after that interception. Thigpen hitting on 10 of 16 for 126 yards. They were denied a first down inside the 1 today. Larry Johnson has returned after missing a month. 12 carries for 40 yards. And the flag will back up the Chiefs on this opening drive.
Now, the last time the Chiefs were in this situation, they weren't able to move it out, and it led to a score by New Orleans. They've got to move the ball out of the shadow of their own end zone now.
See the numbers on the big 3. Thigpen, rock solid. Johnson has shown some encouraging signs, and Tony Gonzalez is Tony Gonzalez. Johnson will try and add to that total, and he's out to the 20. Gain of a couple of yards overall statistically in the opening half. Anything, Coach Billy, jump out at you?
No, very, very even. Obviously, both teams would like to probably rush the ball a little bit better. 3rd down conversions now. Kansas City 2 out of 6. That's going to catch up with you. New Orleans 4 out of 7. They're in that 50+% range that they've been all year.
Second down and 8. Thigpen's first throw of the second half, and appeared to be some miscommunication there. A lot of red jerseys basically in the same turf. Incomplete to Gonzalez.
Well, we talked about in the opener that Kansas City, obviously third down conversions. New Orleans they're okay. They're about the middle of the league in terms of defensive and third down conversion. But that's going to be the measure of a quarterback right here. 3rd and 8. What can you do as a quarterback to get your team back to a first down and not have to kick after a 3-and-out?
Charles in the backfield alongside Thigpen. Great coverage by Jason David. Much maligned a season ago after coming over from Indianapolis, but he'll get a lot of playing time the rest of this season after Porter and McKenzie and Glenn go down.
Yeah, Jason David was beat up all during training camp and the preseason games, but now this is exactly why you have that depth, why everybody's got to be a part of this team, because now all of a sudden he's back into the lineup with all the injuries you alluded to. This is a capable corner. He's just got to have confidence in his game.
May have gotten away with the right arm to the body there. Went off the side of his foot, a poor punt. And it will be down at the 48-yard line. Drew Brees and the Saints offensively don't need much help, but that 33-yard punt does help.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. By Blu-ray High Definition, the best way to watch movies at home ever. By Yellowbook. To learn more about this week's Yellowbook Future Faces, go to foxsports.com/futurefaces. And by the all-new 09 F-150. It's not just a new truck, it's a new F-150.
First possession of the second half for the New Orleans Saints. 13-10, New Orleans in front. Drew Brees in the opening stanza hit on 14 of 20 for 129 yards, threw an interception, did not throw a touchdown. Deuce McAllister. They fake it to him, and then a wide open Colson is missed by Brees.
Yeah, that's the kind of throw that Drew Brees just gets so frustrated with himself. Now, he's talking to Marcus Colson like maybe you expect him to sit down or throttle down. Those crossing routes are harder to complete than you think. Look here at the stats on the the numbers. They're having a good day. They have not had a bad day, but they're sitting there with only 13 points.
Moore has been their go-to guy all season long. He has 5 catches. Now was Turk McBride drawn offside?
You know, you can get a sense of the fans getting frustrated with this youth movement and whatever. This has always been a hard place to come in and play. The noise right now, typically, here's the call.
Neutral zone infraction, number 90 defense. Moving into the neutral zone, causing the reaction on the offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
And this crowd, normally in this situation, it's impossible to think. It's impossible to get the play call out. This crowd's fairly subdued. It's kind of like they've bought into, okay, we know we're young. We know we're going to take a hit here along the way. We'll watch these young guys, but we're not really going to get all that excited just yet, because this has traditionally been just an impossible place to play with regards to the noise, and it's kind of quiet.
Of course, Drew Brees has been here plenty of times, having spent the first 5 years of his NFL career playing for a division rival, San Diego. Pump fake, and locked into a wide open Lance Moore. He's got it. Inside the 10, the 5, touchdown, Lance Moore. 47 yards from Drew Brees.
And Drew Brees called this one. He saw something, looked like a cover 2, but he's changed the play. He likes what he sees. He and Lance Moore on the same page. They knew exactly what they were checking to. They probably have done this thing a dozen times in practice. Little slant and go move, getting the safety inside, the corner to jump the slant. Lance Moore right down the sideline for a touchdown. Vintage Drew Brees and New Orleans Saints offense.
Ricardo Coakley just signed and getting playing time like many others in the Kansas City secondary. Took the bait on that pump fake. And Moore now with 6 catches for 96 yards. And this touchdown from Brees. The Saints in front by 10.
Gunther Cunningham, longtime defensive coordinator in this league, none too pleased with what he just saw. Right now, in only the way Gunn can, he's coaching these guys up. And I'm sure the adjectives that he's adding into that will make it very graphic to the young man. You don't bite on the slant that way.
Up there, born in Munich, Germany. Moved to Greenfield, Massachusetts at 10 years old with his mother and adoptive father, an Air Force Sergeant Gunnar Cunningham. Out to the 21-yard line on the kick returned by Dantrell Savage. So down 10. Can this young Kansas City offense respond?
Well, we're going to give you a quick look here at all the things Kansas City does with Tyler Thigpen at quarterback. First, you come out, and now they've got an empty backfield. Nobody in the backfield. A lot of teams in the league use this, obviously. Next, you come in. This is the pistol we're talking about. Larry Johnson in the eye from the gun in behind the quarterback. Now a normal gun alignment here with an offset back. Now you come into it. Now just an offset eye, true two-back offense in this regard. Now we're back into the pistol again. In the eye, Larry Johnson in behind the gun quarterback.
And a first down throw, a little too tall for Bo. Second down and 10.
Now just out of the gun right here. Eye alignment from the gun. Obviously thrown out as well. Likes the matchup one-on-one. The size matchup comes right out of it to Dwayne Bowe. Let him use his size. Need a little more accuracy, maybe more in the backfield shoulder rather than the upfield shoulder. I don't like the way Kansas City's carrying themselves right now. There's not a lot of energy going on right now.
And they're certainly not getting it, as you pointed out, from this very subdued crowd. Bradley able to spin out of a tackle. That'll give him some energy. David had him and let him get away, and that'll be a first down catch for Mark Bradley. Bradley, turned loose by the Bears, has been a terrific pickup for Kansas City.
Now they're going into a no huddle. Remember, what started the genesis of this offense was how impressed they were with Tyler Thigpen and the way he ran a no huddle 2-minute offense. So at that point, Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator, said, hey, let's build on that. And let's see if we can build an offense around what is clearly a strength for this young man.
They're coming after him on first down. And the catch made. And Bo will be ruled down at the 45-yard line. That'll be a gain of 9. So he did throw it to that other shoulder this time, as you suggested.
Well, on a throw like this, obviously, let him use his size. And if the DB is going to be on the upfield shoulder, put it in behind him. He's a big, strong, athletic receiver under a lot of pressure. That's a great throw by Tyler Thigpen under a lot of pressure. Let him work back to it. Let him use those long arms and those strong hands.
A couple of first downs on this drive for Kansas City, or a second is only a yard away. On 2nd and 1, it is bobbled by Johnson, and it looked like he covered it up.
You know, they've got some players on this Kansas City team, Tom. Obviously, you know that Dwayne Bowe is a good player. Mark Bradley, who they got from Chicago, and when Chicago waived him, he and Tyler Thigpen are guys that have great potential. But I learned a long time ago, a veteran coach, I heard him tell a player, look, son, your potential is going to get me fired. Potential is a dangerous thing, and it's got to come to fruition. Mark Bradley's got all the ability in the world. I'm impressed with what I see in Tyler Thigpen. They may be putting together the nucleus of a very talented team.
Third down and a little longer than a yard. They roll out Thigpen, throw it down the field, and it is caught. Underthrown to Bradley, but a reception nonetheless all the way down to the 24-yard line.
Now we saw the same thing earlier in the game. You'll remember where the ball, Bradley pulled up and the ball was down the field. It was the same action out of the eye or pistol fake. You're going to boot around. This time Bradley does the right thing, makes the double move, and gets a big play, a big vertical play down the field.
They're lucky that pass was completed. Very much underthrown by Thigpen. He made an off-balance throw. And this is Johnson to the 15.
This is the emotional response that I keep talking about. Here you can see Gonzalez, even in this eye gun or pistol offense, You've got to have a good lead blocker, and basically this is Gonzalez on the edge, setting up this big play out of the pistol, out of the eye gun for Larry Johnson.
15 rushes, 51 yards for Johnson in his first game back in over a month. To the corner. Bowe cannot come down with it. Randall Gay step for step all the way with Dwayne Bowe.
Now we're in that 3rd and 1 category again. It would be interesting here to see what Herm Edwards wants to do down by 10 points if they don't convert on this 3rd and 1. He's the guy that went for a 2-point play at the end of the game against Kansas City, or against San Diego. We've already seen him go on a 4th and 1 out around the 30, 35-yard line. Hopefully they convert here for Kansas City. We'll see what happens if they don't.
Well, based on what you've seen here, you running or throwing 3rd and 1?
I think I'm going to throw the ball here. They're packing up this box.
And they are going to throw it. They're coming after Thigpen, gets rid of it quickly, and it is good on the catch to the 9-yard line. Again, it's Bowe on the reception, and he is slow to get up. He's all right.
I'm more and more impressed with Dwayne Bowe the more I see of him. That, as I said before, you can roll to speed with your coverages. You can bracket quickness, but this sheer strength and size and good hands, I mean, Randall Gay's all over him. There's nothing you can do with that.
And out of the pistol, they hand it to Johnson, and he breaks it to the outside. And did he get in? No. Just short. There is a flag down on the play. Holding against Kansas City.
Holding. Number 42 offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That was a fullback in motion.
Yeah, and Cox does a great job setting up this little counter play. Again, they're doing a lot of things. It's just a weak side counter, pulling the guard to kick out. Now the fullback is your lead blocker heading downfield. Boy, I don't know if that's what they're calling the hold on.
Wow.
I'm going to get a fine on Monday. And this is the tough thing for a young team. They get it down to the 1-yard line. Now they've got themselves in a first and forever. They're in the red zone, but 10 points down. They got to come away with a touchdown here. Got it spread out. Nobody in the backfield. Empty again. They're using the whole playbook today.
First and goal. Pump fake, Walker to Gonzalez. A flag comes in, and this time it'll more than likely be against Kansas City to put, or against New Orleans to put Kansas City back in business.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 58 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Now, Tony Gonzalez against virtually any linebacker combination in the league, you like that matchup. He's riding him. That second move, when he made that double move, the linebacker getting his hands on him, clearly pass interference. There's no makeup calls in the NFL, but based on what I saw in that first holding penalty, it's fitting. The football,
so are you saying there are or there aren't?
There are not. No. The NFL officials aren't going to make up call. But here we go with the Wildcat.
It's Larry Johnson taking the snap. Got a good lead block by Cox. And Johnson down at the 4-yard line. Cox putting a big hit right there. Leading the way for Johnson, a gain of 9.
Chan Gailey's using it all now. Now we go into the Wildcat. Here you can see Thigpen. New Orleans is doing the right thing. They're putting enough guys into the box. You don't have to respect the pass necessarily here. You got to sell out on the run. I don't know what you're doing with your free safety quite that deep. You got to fill up and stop the run. Make them show you that they can hurt you with the pass. I don't know if Larry Johnson can throw or not, but I'm going to find out before I play too much coverage behind that Wildcat.
They put up under center this time. And Johnson, at that time Harper came up and made the tackle.
Now Chan Gailey's got some tough calls here. We saw Kansas City down in the first half, down on the 1 or 2 yard line, take 3 shots at it, didn't get it in. Now he's got a 2nd and 3 from the 3 yard line, 2nd and 4.
3rd and 3.
3rd and 3, excuse me. I'm looking at the down marker. They hadn't changed the down marker yet.
We're going to check on Tony Gonzalez, who injured his foot earlier in the game. We'll let you know when we find out in a moment.
Tony Gonzalez, a victim of friendly fire here for the second time in the game, gets leg whipped by his own player and has to come out of the game.
The same player got it both times, Mike Cox. So second down and goal from the 3. Wide receiver screen to Bo, and the ball is dropped. Don't know if he'd have gotten to the end zone anyway, so now third down and 3.
You know, obviously twice they've gone to the outside fade shot. I don't know that if you want to do that. I always prefer to bring a big receiver. It can be Gonzalez, who clearly is out. But go ahead and put Bo on the inside. Throw that same fade, but do it from a slot receiver. It's a shorter, it's an easier pass. If they want to take a shot fade-wise, maybe they ought to think about that. Obviously, it's a passing situation for him here.
We're going to empty out the backfield, which of course always makes you keep an eye on the quarterback draw should he be so inclined. Third down and 3.
And they've emptied it with the linebackers. This would be a great move here.
And they throw the jump ball, and again it doesn't work.
Well, again, they put Bo on the inside, but ran the quick little corner. You know, I talked about putting him in the slot and making it an easier back shoulder throw right up into this area. Instead, they go to the good corner shot. Really kind of there, had a chance, but too far behind him and out of bounds.
Just me. I don't know, but, you know, Brian, obviously, you know, when I see that play, that has to be an absolutely perfectly thrown ball for that play to succeed.
And that one wasn't.
21-yard field goal try, so the Chiefs twice have been inside the 3-yard line on first down today, and neither time score a touchdown. Both times settle for field goals as Connor Bart makes it a 7-point game with 7:41 to go in the third quarter. New Orleans 20, Kansas City 13. That drive for Herm Edwards young quarterback Tyler Thigpen chewing up better than 6 minutes. After a pass interference call, they added first and goal from inside the 5. But come away with a field goal.
Yeah, and we're trading touchdowns for field goals right now. New Orleans with the touchdowns, Kansas City with the field goals. That's not a good exchange.
Courtney Roby out across the 20 and out to the 24-yard line. Let's take a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Houston at Indy. Joseph Adai, 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. This one gave the Colts the lead 23-20 late in the third period. Back to Tom and Brian.
Drew Brees out on the field. Has hit on 15 of 22 for 176 yards. Going to hand it to Deuce McAllister on first down. Very little running room, maybe a gain of 2.
Now, New Orleans going to continue. We talked earlier about they need to enhance their running game, and they'd love to come out of this game get a full dose of Deuce McAllister. Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, is probing them with a lot of different looks. If he continues to want to build the box to stop the run, we'll see a vertical down the field to Devery Henderson or Marcus Colston.
Play action this time. Brees rolls to the right, and Devery Henderson goes up to get it at the 40-yard line, and that'll be a first down for the Saints.
Just a boot action by the quarterback, getting down the field, giving the threat, rolling it to the outside. Drew Brees has a lot of faith in these receivers. He's gotten very comfortable with where to put the ball with each of them. Henderson with great deep vertical threat. It's always good to break it off underneath for an intermediate throw.
That's the right ankle of Tony Gonzalez. We are told it is a sprained right ankle, and we're going to wrap it up and hopefully try and get him back in there. Brees back to work, and dropping it this time was Henderson. He got up slowly from that last catch, and you got to wonder if he's out there shaken up as well.
But this is the thing, that the great thing with Drew Brees. A lot of teams, you know, you're now second long. Second long isn't going to kill you. Drew Brees has got the confidence, the poise. They'll dial up the right thing here. Don't realize they don't have to get it all in one play. Just give me a convertible third down. That's why we lead the league in third down conversions.
Thomas. Wrapped up by Glenn Dorsey, the #1 pick. 5th overall in last year's draft out of LSU, and of course many watching today. Back into Big Easy in the state of Louisiana. He grew up in Gonzales, Louisiana. But what a delightful young man. Had a chance to spend a lot of time around him last year, leading up to the BCS National Championship game, where his Bengal Tigers were crowned champions in New Orleans.
This is Jeremy Shockey territory again. 3rd and 5.
Breeze for Shockey, and that's a first down.
You know, Drew Brees talked about the thing he loves about Jeremy Shockey is he has a real sense of where the ball is going to be thrown. Not just can react to it, but can anticipate the way the guy's playing him, trailing in behind him. He says, Shockey knows where I have to put this ball for it to be complete. And that's the thing Drew Brees loves about Jeremy Shockey.
It's been a rough year for Shockey. He certainly has not put up the kind of numbers he's put up his entire career with the New York Giants. Now, granted, you have to take into account he had that sports hernia surgery. That's a catch made by Henderson, very close to another first down to the 38-yard line. And then Breeze and Shockey have had a couple of exchanges on the field and then over on the sidelines. It happened again last week against Atlanta in the 3rd quarter. An incomplete pass, prompting Breeze to run over, confronting Shockey, that spilled over onto the sideline. Thomas up through the middle, breaks it to the outside, is thrown down at the 22-yard line. Pierre Thomas getting more playing time today, with McAllister at less than 100%, and Reggie Bush still out with a surgically repaired knee.
Sean Payton is feeling his oats now. He's got a good rhythm going, changing up between the play action, the downhill runs, the stretch zone. Pierre Thomas, a great changeup with Reggie Bush out. Need that changeup to go with Deuce McAllister.
First down at the Chiefs' 21-yard line. Pump fake one way, come back the other to Shockey, and he dropped it.
You know, to build on what you were talking earlier, Tom, about Shockey, Drew Brees is the perfect quarterback for Jeremy Shockey. I don't know, in that same situation that we saw where they blew up here, he's just taking a vertical shot down the field. In this instance, Jeremy Shockey, I mean, that's a catchable ball. Now, Drew Brees knows that type of thing will happen, but Jeremy Shockey is going to listen to Drew Brees. He's going to take that from Drew Brees because he knows his heart. He knows he's a competitor. I'm not sure that was the case before when Jeremy Shockey came from New York. So these guys are going to be a good team for a long time to come.
2nd down and 10. No pressure at all on Breeze. Thomas breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet, and close to the goal line, is out of bounds at the 1. Missed tackles aplenty on that catch. Broke one from Alfonso Boone, and then another along the sideline. 1st and goal.
Well, like I said, Sean Payton's in a bit of a rhythm. They're getting no pressure by their defensive line. Just a quick little short screen for the running back.
Handed off to Thomas on 1st down. He is in the end zone. So they hurry up to the line of scrimmage, preventing Kansas City from getting their big bodies on the field on 1st and goal, and Thomas is into the end zone.
Just a straight quick dive playing here. You're exactly right. They've got the matchup they want. They haven't been able to match personnel. Tight end lean, just good body lean, good leg strength by the running back. Pierre Thomas pushing his way into the end zone. New Orleans is showing every bit of why they're the #1 offense in the league right now.
Hartley for the point after to make it a 27-13 Saints lead.
And this is what we talked about. You trade field goals for touchdown. Now it's a 14-point spread.
What a very impressive drive by the league's #1 ranked offense. Did it on the ground, did it in the air. Pierre Thomas having a nice day.
Well, that was the balance they want. They would love to package that up, bottle that up, and take that forward every game the rest of the season.
Dantrell Savage from the 4. Still a long way to go in this one. And clearly Kansas City has proven that they can move the ball down the field. Their problem is getting into the end zone. Well, this January, Fox once again brings you the greatest week in college football, beginning with the FedEx Orange Bowl, the Allstate Sugar Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and the FedEx BCS National Championship game. College football's biggest games this January only on Fox. And, of course, right here at Arrowhead Stadium, the first week of December will be the Big 12 championship, and that may have huge repercussions as to who will play in that FedEx BCS National Championship game. Missouri clinching the northern half of the Big 12 last night. Southern half to be determined. Big Ten thought about it, and now he'll just tuck it away and carry it out to the 36-yard line.
Now, Kansas City has been pretty good today, but you got to give the defense for the Saints a little bit of credit. They've made plays when they've had to, particularly in the red zone here. They've put pressure on Big Ten to a degree. They've had a number of plays for losses. And again, they're not exactly 100% healthy on the back end defensively as well against a very talented Kansas City Chiefs receiving corps. So they've played well today.
Now, these two teams clearly have really been beaten up from a physical standpoint. You can say, well, everybody's beat up, and that would be true. The catch is made by Darling.
I had DeVard in Baltimore. Here's another 6'2", 215-pound guy. They've got a lot of good players on this Kansas City Chiefs team, and it's a chance for them all to show that they can make plays. I don't think Kansas City needs to panic here. They need a score. They're showing a lot of no huddle now, and that's fine. These are straight up calls, or not no huddle, but empty backfield. They can stay within the body of their offense here because we got a lot of football left to play.
Yeah, they're down by 2 touchdowns. They have the ball at their own 44-yard line. They're on the 1st and 10. And still 2 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Big Pen rolling, throws, and Gonzalez back on the field, makes a catch, and is shoved out of bounds after another 1st down reception to the 45. Let's send it back to Los Angeles to Kurt Menefee.
Well, the good news is on the previous possession, Donovan McNabb threw a touchdown pass. The bad, Chris Crocker of the Bengals with the 3rd interception McNabb has thrown today. McNabb has also fumbled away one, and the Bengals have gotten all their points off McNabb turnovers and have a 3-point lead in the 3rd quarter. Back to Tom and Brian.
All right, Kurt. For more information on the Eagles and the Bengals or any game around the NFL, go to foxsports.com. Handoff on 1st down to Jamal Charles, his first carry today. Charles re-injured his ankle against San Diego, had to leave the game last week. The lone start he had as the primary back was against Tampa Bay, and he carried for 106 yards.
Now, Kansas City is in their no huddle, but it's not a, oh, we got to catch up. No, they've been doing this the whole game. So obviously they think this is the way to probe and prod that New Orleans defense to try to get the matchup they're looking for.
Under a minute to go. Lynn's coming. And the slant to Bo. He makes the reception, still on his feet. They try to strip it away from him, and he hangs on tightly to the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd down.
Big Pen again having a real sense of where he needs to put the ball on this big receiver. Again, that's not a matter of just putting the ball up. It's the ability to shield the ball, the sheer size versus the DB that makes Dwayne Bowe such a formidable receiver down the field.
3rd down and 3 yards to go. Incomplete to Bradley on the sideline out. Now 4th down.
That's the end.
Coming in a decision for Herb Edwards. You're down by 14. You're at the opponent's 37. Are you going? We'll know in a moment. We're back after these messages from your local Fox. All right, set to begin the fourth quarter, 27-13, a 4th down and 3 for Herm Edwards. Brian Billick, what is the safest, most efficient pass right now to get 3 yards?
A completion.
Oh, yeah.
The little quick out to Tony Gonzalez. You can put the ball anywhere. Tony will come up with the catch for the first down.
Second time they've gone on 4th down today. They were successful the other. How about a quarterback draw? A first down and more. Big pin down the sideline and tackled, and a face mask to boot, or either a collar at the 5-yard line. How about that call? And that was a call, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. You saw this down in the red zone. We commented on it earlier that it looked like the quarterback draw on the goal line might have been a good thing to do. Clearly, they're in a 2-man or a man coverage. The one guy you don't account for
on the tackle. Horse collar type tackle. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
Guys clearly gets a hold of the face mask there as he goes down. But the one guy you're not accounting for in any man coverage is the quarterback. Great call by Chan Gaylor.
And he got a great block from the running back Jamal Charles. It sprung him loose for the big gainer down the sideline. 3rd time today inside the 5. 1st and goal for Kansas City. They've yet to score a touchdown inside the 5, and they lose a yard on 1st down.
I'll say it again here now. The pistol's been good for them, but down in here without that lead back, I don't know that you have the stretch vertically to take advantage of the fact of this pistol offense or this gun out of the eye. If you're going to run in the eye, get in the eye. Otherwise, go ahead and spread it out, but do it from a formation where you have a more viable run.
They tried a couple of jump balls to Dwayne Bowe today that have been unsuccessful. The first touchdown was not your typical jump ball kind of pass. Here's another one. And Bowe just pulls it away, and it works this time. He just snatched that one away from Usama Young.
Again, just put the ball up. Dwayne Bowe can use his athleticism, his size, and it's not just that. This man has incredible strength. The ability to reach out and maintain that catch throughout. This is a powerful man. Not only just his size, but his hand strength, his arms. Very, very impressive display by Dwayne Bowe today.
Well, you're not lying, Brian Billick. Obviously, we don't get a chance to see a lot of AFC teams play over the course of a season. We have not seen Bowe play in person until today. What a very impressive second-year player out of LSU. His 2nd touchdown today. It's a 7-point game.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. No matter how you celebrate game day, Visa is the way to go. By the new action-adventure Australia, Wednesday, November 26th, only in theaters. And by Michelob Amber Bock, crafting a better beer.
First time today inside the 5-yard line. Kansas City comes away with a touchdown. And it is a 7-point game. Short kick. Having a hard time understanding that. And bringing it out to the 37-yard line is Buck Ortega, just signed off the practice squad.
Yeah, this is months and months of practice, getting a sense. A quarterback gets a sense with every receiver. He's going to throw that ball differently to Dwayne Bowe than he is going to Anthony Gonzalez, than he is going to Mark Bradley or any other receiver. And that's just nothing but practice and the quarterback receiver getting into that zone of knowing where they can put the ball with one another and come out with an outcome like they did there.
2 dynamite drives in this second half by Kansas City. The first time they had to settle for a field goal. And that one is dropped on first down by Marcus Colston. This is a critically important series, although there is a long way to go, nearly a full 4th quarter. But you get the feeling sooner or later Kansas City needs to stop New Orleans.
Well, they've got to feel good about the way they've responded to the emotional challenges. New Orleans marches downfield to score. They turn around and do the same thing. They've been in 3 close games. They got to win one of these close games.
3 games, 3 losses. by a combined total of 8 points for the Chiefs. They hand it to McAllister, and nicely done by the rookie Glenn Dorsey. Got his first sack in the NFL last week against San Diego.
Right here is where you build with the youth. You're talking about the third best offense and third down conversion against the last team in the NFL, Kansas City, 32nd in the league in third down conversions, 3rd and 10. You stop the New Orleans Saints right here.
Breeze, unbelievable time. Even more as he rolls right and just throws down the middle, and it's off the hands of Shockey. Tough to tell where that ball was thrown to Shockey. He's looking back and grinning at Drew Brees. He got a hand on it. Should it have been caught? But it is a stop for the Chiefs.
Well, this is almost a desperation late throw. He sees Shockey, has to throw it in behind him. This is the type of thing that we talked about earlier that he appreciated about Shockey, that he has a sense of where that ball has to be thrown. I don't know that Shockey did there.
That would have been a very, very difficult catch. This one is punted a mile by Pagula. And coming up to get it is Kevin Robinson. A pretty good return out to the 27-yard line. A huge stop for Kansas City against Shockey and company. Now the Chiefs with a chance to tie. We've got a good one here in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. 12:45 to play. New Orleans on the road, leading the Chiefs 27-20. Tyler Thigpen, young quarterback out of Coastal Carolina, has hit on 18 of 31, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, has not been intercepted, and looking for a bundle and trying to go up and get it was Bo, incomplete. Well, we'd like you to get to know Mr. Dwayne Bowe, second-year receiver out of LSU.
I like soul food on the weekends. It makes you really sleepy. Weekdays, you got to go to work, so you can't eat that sleepy food because you won't perform right. People coming out with bumper tags. Somewhere over Dwayne Bowe. Somewhere over Dwayne Bowe. I could be a choreographer, man.
That's good stuff.
Don't quit your day job.
Almost intercepted and then almost caught. Looking for Tony Gonzalez throwing into traffic. That time was Tyler Thigpen.
That's a young quarterback making up his mind prior to the snap where he was going to go with the ball. He was going to go to Tony Gonzalez regardless, and there's a lot of folks in that area. Young man's got a nice streak now. No turnovers in I don't know how many.
157.
Yeah, he came in with a nice string, and he's keeping it alive.
157 consecutive pass attempts without an interception. On 3rd down and 10, New Orleans says timeout.
That's the first charge timeout. New Orleans.
So the Saints with 2. We're in the 4th quarter. 12:34 to play. It's a 7-point Saints lead.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevy, an American Revolution.
Third down and 10 for Tyler Thigpen and the Kansas City Chiefs. Trailing by 7 here in the 4th quarter. 4 receivers set, and they hand it off to Jamal Charles, who eludes a couple of tacklers and has a first down, a gain of 11. Wow.
That's all Jamal Charles there. You know, this 3rd and 10 call, you got a quick little draw action, and this is just him running through how many different tackles here. That should have been nailed. One guy gets a hand on it. They've got the angle. Good first down. Now they got to get back into that rhythm they had the last drive. They got to run a little bit, not just throw it every down. This is a one-score game early in the fourth quarter.
Play fake to Larry Johnson. Thigpen rolling, being chased, and down he goes. Again, Charleston got him. That's his second sack today, getting a chance to play after all the injuries up front.
Now this series has been good for them. He's been able to get outside the pocket, get away from the rush. You got to have a real sense of where everybody is. This is the problem when you roll out or play action like this. You cut the field in half, and there's always the potential of getting run down from the backside. Now they're looking at a second 15, second 16, much longer D&D than you want to be in.
7-yard loss on the sack by Charleston. 11:30 to play. Thigpen under center. They set up the screen to Larry Johnson. Good blocking in front of him. And Johnson has a first down, crossing midfield to the 48-yard line. Niswonger and the three-time Pro Bowler Walters leading the way.
Well, second long, you expect draw or screen. That's exactly what they did, but it's well executed. Doesn't matter whether the defense knows it's coming or not. Great timing. Lineman getting the linebacker down on the field. Larry Johnson in open field, getting that extra 4 and 5 yards to get a first down.
Back to that pistol formation. They hand it to Johnson. And he rambles down to the 40. That'll be a gain of 9. And again, it's Brian Waters making his 112th consecutive start today.
You know, the Kansas City Chiefs for a long time had maybe the most dominant offensive line in the game, and they've had to rebuild it. Obviously, Waters has been there through the duration, but you're talking about Brandon Albert on the left side, was a first-round draft choice this last year. They've had to fill in with Wade Smith for the injured Adrian Jones. They're still piecing this thing together. They've been impressive today.
Pump fake. Looking for Bo down the sideline. Just overthrown. Gay's done a pretty nice job by and large today. I mean, you might look tomorrow and see that, you know, Bo ends up with 7, 8, 9, 10 catches. But so far today, 7 catches, only 53 yards.
And they have challenged him. But this one, again, it's put up the jump ball. Thigpen told us he knows that to throw the ball to Dwayne Bowe, make it a jump ball. And if I'm going to go to Mark Bradley, I'll put that down the field because you can't outthrow him. I don't know that that's exactly the way you want to put the ball to Dwayne Bowe. Give him more of that jump ball down the field. That's his strength.
Big 3rd down and 2. Thigpen's going to throw it. And dropped by Bradley. All right, do you go here now, Brian Billick, on 4th down?
One-score game. You know, they're sending on the punting team. I don't know. You got a nice little drive going. Do you believe in your quarterback? That's a pretty good offense you're putting back on the field. It's simple. If they can pin them down inside the 15, this is a good call. If he kicks this thing into the end zone and comes out to the 20, he did the wrong thing. How about that for equivocation?
You just laid it all out there on the line. Lance Moore hoping that it will be brought out to the 20, quite honestly. Colquitt's so good at this. That'll be at the 12.
28-yard punt.
All right, we'll see. The New Orleans offense, led by Drew Brees, went 3 and out their last drive. 9:55 to go. They lead by 7. These are the numbers for the big 3 offensively for the Saints. Pierre Thomas is a guy you want to focus on, though, right now, Brian Billick.
Yeah, if the New Orleans Saints are going to get where they want to go this year, they've got to run the ball better. Pierre Thomas is running the ball very well. This is the 32nd ranked run defense in the league, the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't you show that you can run the ball in this drive.
We're about to find out. They hand it off to Thomas on 1st down. And a nice play out of the secondary coming up to make the tackle. DeJuan Morgan, another rookie out of North Carolina State.
DeJuan Morgan plays virtually every position, particularly with the injuries that they've had to it. Great read and react. He sees what's happened. That transition from recognition to action, very quick for the young man. Came up and kept it to a minimal gain. Nice play by DeJuan Morgan.
They are so young in that secondary. 14 different defensive backs have forced all that youth on the field. It's a young roster, youngest in the NFL. Breeze, again, virtually untouched in the pocket. And that is a first down completion to Colston out to the 27-yard line.
Marcus Colston can be almost like a tight end, and he's not afraid to go over the middle in terms of getting out in front of the quarterback and doing crossing routes. Nice job of recognizing, sitting down in the hole rather than keep running, and give the quarterback a nice big target right in front of him.
The cleanest jersey on the field is still the jersey of Drew Brees. He has not been sacked today, as this time they hand it off to Thomas. And good running out to the 40-yard line. That'll be a first down, a gain of 14. Let's check in on the Panthers and what they're up to with Kurt Menefee.
Well, don't run off Detroit just yet. Dante Culpepper with a dive pulls the Lions to within 2 of the Panthers. So you go for the 2-point conversion. Culpepper on the draw, hit at the goal line, and it pops out. They don't get it. So it's 24-22, Carolina on top. 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Back to Tom and Brian.
Kurt, thank you very much. 8-12, 8-10 to go. As you look at the standings in the South, New Orleans has to win this game today, realistically, to have any hope of getting back into second. A gain of 9 on first down, again to Pierre Thomas.
Good lead block here, coming off on the left side. Jamal Brown, first-round draft pick a few years back, one of the better left tackles in the game. Has the athleticism to get out in front of the play. DB trying to undercut him, doing a nice job here. This is just what we said. Now this is the kind of drive that if I'm the New Orleans Saints, again, Pierre Thomas having a good day, that this is the drive I needed to have. Yeah, I'll take it throwing down the field, but I need to show, particularly against this defense, that we can run the ball if we're going to get where we want to go.
McAllister close to a first down, only needed a yard on 2nd and 1. The Saints were hoping to have Reggie Bush back for this game. Bush has played in just 7 games. He injured his left knee in the loss to Carolina, underwent surgery, and has now missed 3 in a row. But after watching him practice 3 days ago, it was pretty clear when he came back the next day and was given the day off that he was not going to be ready.
Well, Sean Payton doesn't want to rush Reggie Bush back. He's got to make sure that Reggie Bush is ready to come back on the field. He's too big an asset to rush back onto the field.
Flag goes down.
He's got a freebie.
Freebie indeed, and looking for Henderson. And it's broken up. Good coverage by Brandon Carr.
Drew Brees is as good at that as anybody in the league. If you got a vertical, I don't care what the coverage is, if he knows he's got a freebie.
Offside, number 95. Defense in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
He can make that transition. If there's a vertical somewhere in this route, even if it was primary, I don't care if the guy's got 3 guys on him, I'm going to put it down the field because I got nothing loose throwing it up. Now, Kansas City's in that, they're getting close now to where they may have to start selling out here. A field goal, 10-point spread might be a little bit much for this Kansas City team. Kansas City may have to start selling out to not let them get into field goal range.
As Herm Edwards made that decision a short while ago to not go for it on 4th down and 2, trying to pin New Orleans and the #1 ranked offense in the NFL deep in their own territory. But now all of a sudden the Saints have crossed midfield and they have the ball at the 43-yard line.
I got the #1 offense in the league in New Orleans, and I got the 32nd ranked defense in the league, Kansas City. Don't mean to be disrespectful to my guys, but I don't know that I like those numbers. I don't know that I don't go for it.
2nd down, short drop, safe pass, and it's caught by Campbell, and that is good enough for a first down to the 37-yard line. Campbell chopped down, and he's still down. Grabbing a hold of that left knee, and that is never a good sign.
This is, the receivers hate this kind of pass for this very reason. You catch the ball, in a displaced formation with a little quick out. The corner, the outside corner, falls off his outside assignment, and he's just playing ball. He's just making a tackle, but you know it's going to be a low tackle. Watch the corner here coming off the left side. He sees the pass. He pushes out in too deep. And now he's a big man. I'm just going to go down. There's nothing illegal about this. This isn't a vicious hit, but it's a big man versus a little man. And boy, you see that more often than not with that kind of pass.
Brandon Carr, the rookie out of Grand Valley State, with the hit on Campbell, who missed all of last season following back surgery in his 10th year in the NFL out of the University of Michigan. Signed away from Buffalo as a free agent by the Saints 3 seasons ago.
You hope, in the way it hit, you hope maybe it's just a hyperextended knee, which can be very painful, but obviously less invasive than if it's a medial collateral. The way they're working the knee right now, there's just checking for the structure of it. How does it feel?
Well, as they continue to look at Mark Campbell, we're going to check back in from Los Angeles with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Raiders scored on a 93-yard punt return to take the lead in Miami, but Dan Carpenter with a 38-yarder with 38 seconds left gave the Dolphins the victory, 17-15 the final. Miami now 6-4 a year after winning one game. Back to Tom and Brian.
Now Drew Brees over there taking care of his player. I tell you what, quarterbacks are very conscious of putting the ball in a place that keeps their receivers healthy. And he had to make that throw. That's just football. No one's at fault here. But Drew Brees knows that how vulnerable those receivers are. And those receivers appreciate that he's not going to arbitrarily put them in harm's way. Hopefully he can move around with this. Hopefully it is maybe just a hyperextension, which is not as serious as the other things we talked about. It's just a dangerous physical game, and sometimes these things happen. As we said earlier, Kansas City in a position now where they're getting in that field goal range. They may have to sell out here to keep them out, and in doing so, putting themselves at risk, because Drew Brees certainly capable of making that throw down the field. But I think Kansas City's got to think real hard and long. A 10-point spread here is going to be a bit of a hill to climb with 5:42 left to go. They may have to sell out to keep New Orleans out of a viable field goal attempt here.
Well, we mentioned that Brees has not been sacked all day long, and in fact the Kansas City Chiefs have 6 sacks all year. That is the fewest number of sacks through a season's first 9 games for any team in the NFL going back to 1982.
First and 10. You know, it's tough. You know you're not getting the pressure by your down 4, so you got to bring linebackers and safeties. But I'm playing with 2 rookie corners. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Certainly our very best thoughts and wishes for Mark Campbell as he is tended to on the Saints sideline. First down, the Saints are going to throw it. And Brees again all day to throw it. And finds Shockey down to the 25-yard line. That'll move the change yet again. Just 0 pressure on Brees.
And you let Drew Brees have this kind of time.
First and 10.
He is going to find somebody to deliver the ball to. Now, New Orleans, they're not only wanting to score. I don't mean to sound like you just play for the field goal to not be aggressive here, but you want to suck down as much clock as you can. Right now, 10 points. This time spread, you bring it down under 2 minutes, you've got to win. Doesn't mean you don't go for the end zone, but you be prudent about the way you go after this.
Pierre Thomas in the backfield. He'll take the pitch from Brees, cuts it back to the inside, and coming up the line and making the tackle is Babin. But it's down to the 22-yard line. A big gain of almost 5. The catch a moment ago by Jeremy Shockey, the 400th of his outstanding career. And you take a look at the number of games it took him to get there. In his 90th game, only the great Hall of Famer Kellen Winslow Sr. caught that many passes in 72 games. It took Tony Gonzalez 7 more than Shockey. Breeze, quick throw to Shockey. Catch number 401 is good enough for a gain of 8. The clock continues to run.
And if I'm Jeremy Shockey, I know I'm now with a quarterback that if I play my cards right.
That's the first charge timeout. Kansas City, 30-second timeout.
Continue to be a professional. I can approach some of the numbers that we're talking about and maybe solidify myself among some of the great tight ends in the game.
Next week, our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. We invite you to join us at 1 o'clock. The Bay at St. Louis. Many will see the 49ers and the Cowboys. Then late, the Giants and the Cardinals. We're in the NFC South, the Panthers and the Falcons. Coverage begins with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at 9 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. No short, safe passes rather than runs here with under 4 minutes to go. Kansas City spending a timeout, trailing by 7.
This alignment looks like a pass. I'm not sure we don't get a little quick tracking here.
It is a pass, wide receiver screen to Moore. Read beautifully by Page and the Kansas City defense, and they did not get the first down. They had to get to the 16-yard line.
That's the second charge timeout. Kansas City, 30-second timeout.
They might get a favorable spot here. No, they're going to be about, what, a half a yard short? So Kansas City spends a timeout. And it's 4th down, and the field goal unit for a most important field goal trial will come out, or will it, for Sean Payton's New Orleans Saints.
And that's good use of the timeout. If they're at field goal range, and if you go with the assumption they're going to make it, always a dangerous assumption. But New Orleans, had it not been a timeout, would have let another 30 seconds or so run off this clock. And we're getting down to the point that you're at a 2-score game, ostensibly if they make the field goal. So that use of the timeout was a good one by Herm Edwards.
Garrett Hartling, the 3rd kicker used this season by the Saints, has still not missed. He is 4 for 4, including 2 for 2 today. This is his biggest attempt in this, his 2nd game. 35 yards away to give him a 10-point lead. And right down the can. They may have a keeper here in Garrett Hartling. Told you Martin Gramatica was hurt early in the season. Taylor Melhoff for a second go-round with the Saints. Missed a critically important PAT. Hit 3 of 4 field goals, but they cut him loose, brought in Hartley, and now 5 for 5.
Yeah, that's been a nemesis for them, solidifying the kicking game. And this young man, if he can continue to do what he's doing here, they may have done just that. Here you can see the NFC South, the 2nd most competitive division, or the 2nd most successful division in football right now, only to the NFC East. It's a great division. New Orleans, if they can hold on to a win here, can stay in the mix. This is, we've got that good Carolina-Atlanta game next week, Tom. I'm looking forward to that.
And you see today, Carolina in a real nail-biter there with Detroit, only a 2-point lead in the 4th quarter. Tampa Bay just in front. And we saw now that Denver has come back to take the lead over Atlanta.
So New Orleans is still in the mix if they can hold on to this. We're going to see what Kansas City can do with 3:28. Anybody that watched the Notre Dame Navy game yesterday? You can see what an onside kick can do. So let's get a score on onside and see what we can come up with, Chiefs.
For those that missed it, it was 2 onside kicks and 2 touchdowns for Navy in the final minute and a half. Although Notre Dame did win the game. Savage going to bring it out of the end zone. And he is still on his feet. Still chugging away. And pushed down finally at the 32-yard line. So 3:19 to go. I want to ask you a little bit about this NFC South. You have seen a number of these teams a number of times so far. And obviously with a 1-game spread between first place and the 2 teams tied for 2nd, in your opinion, is there one to you that looks like the best team among the group?
As soon as I say that, then they lose the game. The thing that I'm looking forward to is everybody's got to play everybody else. So they can impact the division. They can have a hand in it one way or the other. That's what I'm excited about seeing.
And the Saints, feeling like if they can get out of here with a win, even their record at 500, they do have every division opponent left to play before this season is over. And there's a sack. Fourth one today for the Saints, and this time it's Bobby McCray. He's their team leader in sacks, and he only has 4 of them.
Damian McIntosh on the right side, the right tackle, just sets too far upfield. Nice swim move on the inside to come up with the sack.
But slant, getting out of the hands of Bradley. Bradley with a huge drop. You cannot forget that play. When it was still a 7-point game, the ball was down at the 35-yard line. Bradley dropped the ball on what would have been a 3rd down conversion to keep the drive alive, forcing Herm Edwards to make the decision. Do we punt or do we go? He punted. New Orleans goes down the field, kicks a field goal, 10-point game.
And that's been the kind of play that Mark Bradley's had to work past to show that he indeed can be a viable part of anybody's offense.
Big Pen fakes the throw, slides down at the 33. Brad wanting a late hit. And now it will be an unquestioned 4th down. And they'll go for it here, trailing by 10 with 2.5 to play.
8 yards on play.
They're having to do it with a no-huddle call, which, again, they've been in all day long. So this is nothing new for them. This is easy to do. Got plenty of time. It's not a hurry. It's just no huddle on a 4th and 10.
And really pretty much the ball game here. If they can't convert, they're in big trouble. And it is intercepted by Young. It's tackled at the 45-yard line. So again, another tough one for Kansas City.
Yeah, you gotta put it up. You know, go die with your boots on. He knew he had to make some kind of throw down the field, going to his left. Tough throw.
This will be 4 games in a row. Granted, not as close this time, but you go back 3 games ago, they led with a minute to go before Brett Favre led them back. They blew the big lead here against Tampa Bay, losing in overtime, and then last week scored, went for 2 with 23 seconds left, a failed 2-point conversion try, a 1-point loss, and now today they're down by 10 with just 2 minutes and 8 seconds left to play. Thomas will take us, or Willie, down to the 2-minute warning. Nope, Kansas City snuck in. Did they get in the timeout? No. Chiefs do have a timeout left. 2-minute warning, a 10-point Saints lead.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
Yeah, I don't know that Tyler Thigpen feels very good about this right now. His first interception in the last 162 throws, because it's an interception that obviously has ended the game. But that's a pretty good string for a young quarterback.
Sure is. We mentioned it. Thigpen had the 3rd highest quarterback rating in the NFL over the last 3 weeks. And you can say, well, big deal. You know, they lost every game, so on and so forth. If you're the Chiefs in this franchise and looking ahead down the road as they spend their final timeout, it is a big deal for a young man getting a chance to play in the first time, to play well and build confidence.
And when we put it to Herm Edwards and Chan Gailey about what does this young man have to do going forward to solidify this job, I think it's got to be very encouraging for the young man. Their answer was, just do what you've been doing, because he has done some pretty good things. So he has a chance to make a home for himself here. These are respectable numbers, obviously. Has played a good game today. And is going to have a chance going down the way here to show that he indeed can be the future. Brody Croyle is still here, has had trouble staying healthy. So this young man has an opportunity to maybe make a home for himself here in Kansas City.
3rd down and 5 for the Saints. I want to zero in on New Orleans. After today, they will be 5-5. As Breeze is going to make a sure throw and a first down catch made by Moore, who inexplicably walks out of bounds. But, you know, for the Saints, here you are, in basically what is a 6-game sprint. You have 6 more games left in the season, 3 inside your division. You finally get a chance to play in the Superdome. You haven't been there in a month when you gave away a home game to go to London. You got Green Bay, huge one at Tampa Bay, get Atlanta at home, on the road at Chicago and Detroit to finish the year, and you're hoping for the final 6 games you have Reggie Bush.
And
Can they do it?
Except for that last one in Detroit. Every single one of those is a playoff hunt. If they can, they deserve to go to the playoffs, because that's quite a road. The encouraging thing is they can impact the division. We'll see how the other games play out, but I believe everybody's got to play everybody else. That's going to be that's where they can hold on. Now, it may be a long shot, but they can hold on to that idea of, you know what, we're not done here. And that's what Sean Payton's going to be telling them tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon when they come together as a team.
Well, this will be their first road win, officially road win of the year. They have won away from New Orleans. That was a home game played, of course, in London, the victory over San Diego. Well, you know their offense pretty much is going to show up to play every week. They had a terrible game against Atlanta last week, but these are more Saints-like numbers. More a 100-yard receiving day. Thomas, 88 yards rushing in 16 carries. You're talking about over 5.5 yards per carry there by Thomas, and of course Drew Brees, another solid day.
That's the thing they're going to be most pleased about, is the way they were able to run the ball, particularly that last drop, to kind of put the game away. Herm Edwards going to go out, start back tomorrow morning, say, okay, what do I do with these young guys to keep them competing? They competed today. They played hard.
The Chiefs slipped to 1-9. Sean Payton's New Orleans Saints go to 5-5. Our final score from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City: the New Orleans Saints 30, the Kansas City Chiefs 20. We're back to Kansas City for more of our post-game coverage after these words from your local Fox station. (30-20) our final score. Take a look at the UPS leaderboard. UPS, what can Brown do for you? They can do lots, I promise. A big day for the Saints offense. Told you 100 receiving yards for Lance Moore. Thomas rushes for 88 yards in a 30-20 win. For more information, log on to foxsports.com. Time for the AT&T postgame show. Here's Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.